Hi everyone, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets, we have come off from the day's high, no doubt. So while in the middle of the day it looked like we are snapping that 6-day gaining streak, that seems to be the case even now after a bit of an attempt to go into the green. The Sensex, however, has done that and it stayed over there. Interesting to know that finally we are seeing a bit of outperformance come by in the small cap index, and that really is the star performer. In fact, we've been talking about the recovery in the mid and the small caps for the last couple of days, and we will take forward that action as well on the rest of the duration of Market Fatafat, where we will be identifying individual movers and shakers. So let's get straight to that. We have with us today on the technicals Rajesh Palviya of Axis Securities, and from our research team we are joined by Soumya and Vinny. Soumya and Vivek, hi everyone, good afternoon, and let's kickstart the show then first with that view on the Nifty mid and the small cap index. Rajesh, mid cap index has of course ebbed off along with the benchmarks, but I think the small cap index still continues to rally unabated. Do you believe that there is more room for an up move to continue from here on as well for the mid and the small cap indices?
Yeah, good afternoon. If you look at the structure of small cap and mid cap indices, since last 4-5 weeks we have seen small consolidation at the lower level, and we have seen very good breakout on daily chart. So looking at the breakout, I feel that we may see further more rally of around 2 to 3% from the current level. And even if you look at the weekly structure, both the indices managed to give breakout of downsloping trend line on the weekly chart. So I feel 2 to 3% kind of up move we can expect from in the small cap space in the current level.
Okay, that is the view then on the indices. Do take note of that. Let's move on and talk about another sector that's buzzing, and that's the OMCs. Now, Citi today has come out with a bit of a positive note. But their order of selection is BPCL, followed by IOC, and then HPCL. Interesting to know that as we speak, HPCL, of course, has almost taken a one-way slide post around 11 o'clock to the day's low. It's more than 1% gone now. Let's see if that's the case for BPCL too. And yes, it's actually slipped quite significantly, especially in the last couple of minutes. It's at the day's low as well. However, Citi does say that currently OMCs seem to be offering strong fundamentals along with positive earnings momentum as well. The target for BPCL is 475 and for HPCL it's at around 360 rupees. But all these stocks along with the rest of the market are off the day's high. In fact, they have edged into the red as we speak. Soumya, Sudarshan Chemicals, what are we seeing over there in terms of a share price reaction? Because we have Axis Capital that's released a really optimistic note on the stock.
Well, yes, in fact, it is really very bullish, and we're just seeing a very smart amount of uptick coming in the stock. They've initiated buy coverage on the stock with a target price of 410 per share. In fact, they believe that the company's focus on scaling up specialty pigment is already well for them. In fact, they've also planned 40 to 50% of capacity expansion for over the next 3-4 years, which will help them penetrate the international markets and also go and expand new product launches. Apart from this, the management has been plans to tie up for select crucial raw materials to negate any unexpected volatility in pricing and margins. They've also believed that 12% volume CAGR can be delivered by the company. So they're really very bullish when it comes to Sudarshan Chemicals, and hence we're seeing the stock react very sharply on this brokerage note.
Okay, 4.7% and still holding on to those gains. Moving on, Vivek, we're seeing a lot of stake sale, etc. in the BFSI space, as BILIF is one such company. What exactly are the details of this OFS?
Well, that's right, Mubina. In fact, if we're talking about SBI Life, SBI, the holding company, is looking to sell almost 3.5 crore shares in this particular entity. They are looking to do this via an OFS, and the main reason why they are selling this amount of stake is to actually adhere to most of what the requirement is as far as the institutions are concerned. Now remember, the OFS actually has an option to additionally sell up to 1 crore shares in the event of oversubscription. And if you're talking about the floor price for this particular sale, it's been fixed at 770 rupees a share. It will be interesting to see the kind of appetite the market has for this particular business, especially given the fact that this particular sector has been in the limelight for the last couple of months.
That it has. In fact, today as well, we did have that Nomura note on, life insurance companies. They indicated yet another positive trend for the month of August. So it certainly is a synergy of all eyes. Let's also, in fact, bring you that exclusive with Dinesh Kumar Khara, the MD of SBI, who we caught up with earlier in the morning to talk about the stake sale, which he says is being done to achieve the minimum shareholding norms, and perhaps some more stake will need to be sold to sort of meet that guideline. Listen in.
We have proposed a dilution of 3.5% of our stake in the SBI Life. There was an option of oversubscription of 1% via this offer for sale to achieve the minimum public shareholding. That is the reason why we are offloading this stake. In fact, currently, promoters both BNP, Paribas Cardiff and SBI own 67.3% stake in the company. SBI is holding 62.1% and Cardiff is holding 5.2%. So we have launched this sale at a floor price of rupees 770 per share. And post sale, our stake in the company will be 57.6%.
Okay, well, moving on, let's talk about another stock that's really gaining smartly entry, and of course, interestingly, we just had that news with respect to public sector power companies, but here's a private sector stock, and that is Tata Power. What exactly does Citi have to say? Well, they're pretty optimistic, and they are particularly liking the valuations. Remember, this stock has been obviously been a big wealth eroder, especially in the last couple of years, and they believe that now it's actually showing valuations that are not expensive anymore at the 61, 63 odd rupees. They're saying the stock is in fact trading at lower than even one time its standard deviation of below the historical mean price to book. So it's certainly a very optimistic note, but it's mostly valuation. They're also saying about how the Mundra UNPP resolution has now finally reached its end game. Of course, if there's any sort of non-core asset divestment for deleveraging, that will as well provide a fillip to its numbers, but we'll wait by for that. Buy on Tata Power, target 76, stock price gaining more than 3%. Another stock from the Tata stable is Tata Steel, Rajesh, and we've seen the traction continue. Well, for the most part of today's trading session, we saw the traction continuing, but now this as well has slipped. What's your view here?
Yeah, we have seen, the buying interest in the metal space in the last couple of trading sessions. But looking at the near-term structure of Tata Steel, it's facing the resistance at around 375 kind of level, which is important for the Tata Steel. But looking at the reversal which we have seen on the near-term chart, we feel that if its stocks corrects near to 360, should be the buying opportunity for trading point of view. And we expect that stock can again rally towards 385 on the higher side. So one can buy around 360 with stop loss of 345, and we are expecting upside target of 385 on the higher side.
Alright, that's Tata Steel. It's a third of a percent lower off the day's high, but Rajesh was pretty optimistic on this one. Soumya, Canfin Homes, Canara Bank of course has been in the process of trying to sell the stake that it owns in this housing finance company for some time. What's the latest there?
Well, yes, indeed, and as a process of it, they have received close to about 12 entities which have, shown interest in acquiring their stake in Canfin Homes. Well, remember, this is one of the better placed NBFCs in the entire NBFC space, and that's why they're releasing a lot of investor traction when it comes to Canfin Home stake sale by Canara Bank. They're exiting their entire stake of over 30% and looking at valuations of over 1,000 crore that they will get as funds from the stake sale. However, talking about the stock performance, it's off from today's high, but still managing to trade in green.
Okay, 0.6% higher. And Vivek, continuing with the whole stake sale story, our NAM stock is tanking. What sort of a response did its OFS get?
Surprising. Now remember, Reliance Capital is forced to go ahead and sell as much stake as it has in most of its listed companies. Now remember, Reliance Nippon Asset Life Management in itself has been quite a successful business from that particular stable. But however, in order to repay debt, they've been forced to come up with various ways in order to actually go ahead and reduce their stake and to repay their debt. So now this particular OFS got a significant amount of bid. Now remember, it got oversubscribed as well, fully subscribed on day one itself and oversubscribed as well. However, what is the overhang on this particular stock is that there will be further reduction by Reliance Capital, which is the holding company, and which is why if you're looking at the stock today down another 5% even as we speak.
That it is 263 now for Arnam. Here's another interesting story that may be in the works, and that is with respect to all cargo logistics. That's stock number 9 for us. Now, various reports are suggesting that private equity major Blackstone, that has, of course, great realty interest worldwide, is planning to invest 1,500 crore rupees in a unit that belongs to all cargo logistics that essentially wants to expand the scope of warehouses across India. In fact, the unit is planning to build 5 million square feet of warehouses across India, and this is coming in at a time when you have Walmart, when you have Amazon, that really want to expand their e-commerce reach in India, clearly showing that the demand for warehouses is only going to increase from here on, whereas the supply is not as much. And Blackstone obviously wants to capitalize on this potential opportunity. Stock price is off the day's high, but you cannot ignore the sort of gains it was seeing earlier in the day, lower by 0.7%, but this is a story we will be tracking very closely. Okay, Rajesh, the Nifty IT index, meantime, it has been a big loser. For the last 3 days, it has been underperforming. Do you believe that this could continue?
Yeah, if you look at the, on the IT front, all the large cap stocks are witnessing, selling pressure on the higher side. So we feel, for the more corrective action we can see in the Nifty IT as well as, stock like, TCS, we expect, further more downside we can see, because looking at the chart, stock now slipped below its 50-day and 100-day simple moving average. So looking at the structure, we feel, TCS can further slide from the current level, and we may see a lower side target of around 20,65 on the lower side. So one can remain short on the TCS, and the same we are expecting that Nifty IT can also further slide from the current level. So one can remain short in the TCS in the for the short term.
Okay, not very optimistic on TCS. That's Rajesh's opinion. Alright folks, we'll take a quick breather right here on Market Fatafat, but before we let you go, today as we kickstart Rise with India Prime Time on the Money Show, we are going to help you reach your financial goals. Send in any questions or queries you may have on personal finance, on your mutual fund portfolios, and TV Subramaniam will check your portfolio out for you, suggest any chops or changes if required. Also, there's a new issue of the sovereign gold bonds that's currently open, but it closes on the 13th of September, that's tomorrow. The question is, should you invest in the sovereign gold bond series? Is it for you? We will be discussing that with Harshvardhan Rungta at 5:25. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now let's quickly continue with the countdown. And Vic, the fervor in Apollo Hospital stock has completely died down. Now what's the latest?
Well, that's right, Mubina. In fact, Mubina, Apollo Hospitals are very important to track this particular name. What has actually happened is that the promoters yesterday, today morning in a block deal, pre-market as itself in the block deal window, sold almost 725 crore rupees, a significant amount of stake. Now, the main reason for this particular stake sale was to reduce debt. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is that 78% of the promoter shareholding in Apollo Hospitals is actually pledged, and this is something that has actually been spooking the market. The management has said that it is also looking to divest stake in the insurance arm, but at this point of time that particular transaction is still not over. On the back of that, you saw this particular stake sale happening. Now, worries persists that in case the insurance stake sale doesn't really go through, there could be further overhang of stake sale by the promoters in Apollo Hospitals itself, which is why on the back of this particular worries, you're actually seeing the stock fall quite significantly from the day's high.
Okay, very quickly, Rajesh, CESC, again a 52-week high, has been perched over there for some time. A quick look at the chart. What is it recommending?
Yeah, looking at the long-term structure, stocks is looking very positive on the long-term structure, though the stock has corrected from the today's high of around 835. But we still feel it's a buying opportunity. If stocks comes near to 800 to 790 zone, one can again buy the stock in the correction with stop loss of 775. Again, we are expecting stock will continue its upward momentum towards 840, 860 on the higher side.
Okay, but with that, we are completely out of time. So, Rajesh, Soumya and Vivek, thanks for joining us on Market Fatafat. Coming up next is closing.